He was a ruthless CEO, a man named Zanhua, driven by a single-minded goal: the utter destruction of the family that wronged him. His plan was a masterpiece of cold calculation, and at its heart was a woman, Xin Yi. She was the key, an unsuspecting pawn he would use to topple his enemies from within. To get close, he would marry her. The wedding was a grand affair, but for Zhu and Hua, it was just another business transaction. The vows were a contract, the celebration a strategic move. He had her right where he wanted her. Their new life together began under a cloud of deception. Zanhua was the perfect husband on the surface, but a stranger behind closed doors. He was distant, his mind always elsewhere, consumed by the intricate details of his revenge. For Xin Yi, a woman who had entered the marriage with a hopeful heart, life became a confusing maze. She couldn't understand her husband's coldness, the invisible wall he kept between them. She was living in a gilded cage, surrounded by luxury but starved of affection, completely unaware that she was just a piece in a dangerous game. She tried to bridge the gap, offering him warmth and kindness, but he remained an enigma, a puzzle she couldn't solve. Her days were filled with a quiet loneliness, a stark contrast to the powerful, confident man the world saw in Zanhua. But proximity has a funny way of changing things. Day after day, Zanhua was forced to witness Xin Yi's true character. He watched as she treated his staff with a respect they'd never known, how she cared for a stray cat she found in their garden, and how she faced the snide remarks of high society with a quiet dignity that disarmed her critics. He saw her strength, not in power or wealth, but in her unwavering compassion. She was a light in the dark, cynical world he had built around himself. He had expected a pawn, someone he could easily manipulate and discard. Instead, he found a woman of incredible substance and grace. Slowly, almost without him realizing it, the ice around his heart began to melt. He started noticing the small things, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her love for painting, the gentle melody she hummed while arranging flowers, the genuine concern she showed when he came home late from work looking exhausted. He found himself looking forward to seeing her, to hearing her voice. These moments of quiet domesticity, which he once would have scorned as weaknesses, became the highlights of his day. The lines of his carefully constructed plan began to blur. His target was no longer just a name on a list. It was the family of the woman who was slowly capturing his heart. The conflict brewing inside him was a raging storm. Every step he took towards his revenge felt like a betrayal of Xin Yi. He would look at her innocent face while she slept, and a wave of guilt would wash over him. How could he destroy her family, knowing it would shatter her world? The man who had meticulously planned every detail for years was now paralyzed by a single emotion: love. This wasn't part of the plan. Love was a vulnerability, a weakness he couldn't afford. Yet the thought of losing Xin Yi, of seeing the light in her eyes extinguished by his actions, was a pain far greater than the satisfaction his revenge could ever offer. He was caught between the ghosts of his past and the promise of a future he never knew he wanted. One evening he found her in the library poring over old family photo albums. She looked up at him, her expression soft and trusting. In that moment, the final wall around his heart crumbled. He saw not a pawn, not a connection to his enemies, but his wife. The woman who had shown him what it meant to be truly strong, to be kind in a world that was anything but. The desire for vengeance, which had burned like a fire within him for so long, suddenly felt like cold, dead ash. It was a hollow pursuit compared to the profound, vibrant feeling he had for her. The next day, Zanhua gathered his team. With a few decisive words, he dismantled the entire operation. Years of planning, of plotting, of simmering rage, all of it was gone, abandoned in an instant. He walked away from the war room and went to find his wife. He found her in the garden, tending to her roses. He walked up to her, took her hands in his, and for the first time he looked at her with no secrets, no ulterior motives. He told her everything, not the details of his plot, but the truth of his heart. He confessed his initial intentions and how she had completely changed him. He chose her. He chose love over hate, a future over the past. He threw away his crown as the king of revenge to become the husband she deserved. Their journey started as a lie, a strategic move in a cold war, but through the unexpected power of kindness and love, it transformed into the most genuine truth of their lives. They had a long road ahead to build a real marriage from the ashes of his deception, but for the first time Zanhua was ready to build something instead of tearing it down. And it all started with the woman he had intended to use, the woman who ended up saving him. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If you enjoyed this journey from revenge to romance, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tales of love and transformation. We'll see you in the next one.